How is it going, everybody? I hope you all are doing well and looking forward to the brand new year that is almost upon us with 2018. 2017 has come and gone, and we had many good chapters of Tokyo Ghoul within 2017, but I think many of us are looking forward to see where the story and what the chapters are going to be in 2018 for Tokyo Ghoul. But I think many of us were surprised to hear the news that the first official chapter of Tokyo Ghoul with chapter 155 came out a few days earlier, could not wait for 2018, and came out in the final week of 2017 to end off Tokyo Ghoul in 2017. And I'm not complaining about that. I just love the fact that we got this chapter a few days early. I love the content that we got in this week's latest chapter, but I think I should bring this up right off the bat in case some of you guys are unaware. Due to the fact that this chapter came out just a few days earlier than expected, definitely expect the wait for chapter 156, the next chapter of Tokyo Ghoul, to be a lot longer because there's going to be a break in between these two chapters, so expect like a 2-week break until the next latest chapter. But let's not dwell too much on the fact that chapter 156 might have a longer wait than normal. Right now, let's just focus on the latest chapter that we have on hand, chapter 155 of Tokyo Ghoul entitled Several Lies. And this title, right off the bat, after reading this chapter, I completely understand where the title comes from. It's not too mysterious. It's basically dealing with the whole flashback sequence we had with Mutsuki and Haise, and how Mutsuki was able to pick up on the several lies that Haise was telling to Mutsuki, how Mutsuki was able to pick up on them, and how this actually ended up developing the relationship, or at least the feelings that Mutsuki ended up developing for Haise. But besides the flashback section we had within this chapter, the remainder of this chapter basically consists of our first generation and second generation QS members still fighting against one another, with Mutsuki still going up against Urei and Psycho, and then having Shao and Higemaru going up against Aura. So I'll talk about Mutsuki, Urei, and Psycho in just a little bit, but the first section I definitely want to dive into is the whole fight with Aura going up against Higemaru and Shao. Shao right now, these past two chapters, has been absolutely amazing. Ishida has just done fantastic work with her character, both in the fight sequences, but also in just the insults and just the words, the dialogue that Shao has been spouting at Aura within these past two chapters. She has been absolutely amazing, and I think I can say that majority of the fandom is now really big fans of Shao if you were not big fans of her character yet within the story. Right off the bat, we get to witness Shao ripping off her cloak, activating her Kagane, and manipulating the Kagane down her skin-tight suit, down to the bottom near her feet, where her Kagane is basically encasing her legs and feet. And the really cool added effect of this is that it's giving off the impression that her legs are on fire. I love the way this panel is designed. It is just really, really cool. And you also got to remember that Shao is very proficient in martial arts. She is very flexible, but her go-to in a fight is always with her legs. She is a kicker. She's not a puncher. She is in fact a kicker. So when I saw this, I immediately was just like, Aura, you are done for. And she immediately goes in to attack Aura. We see like these giant, explosions as her legs impact the ground. And I think the one panel that everybody is going to love with this week's latest chapter is as Aura is dodging, he's basically about to spout out the word shit, but he can't get the word right out because Shao comes in with a punch and ends up punching Aura right in the face. And I'm just gonna put that up on the screen right here, right now, so that way you guys can just bathe in the glory that Shao and Ishida bestowed upon us with this week's latest chapter. And I just absolutely love this panel. And I think after reading this panel, I think I heard the Tokyo Ghoul fandom squeal with joy just for a really quick second. And right after she punches Aura in the face, Shao then proceeds to pin Aura down to the ground, pinning both of his arms, putting her boot right on Aura's chest, and basically saying to him, "You had enough yet?" That right there, that moment, this section within the chapter and these past two chapters, I think solidifies the badassery that is Shao. Absolutely loved her these past two chapters. She's been absolutely amazing. But as we move forward within this section, we see Shao, talking to Aura, basically letting him know it's like, your Aunt Kyoko is currently participating within this operation. Even though she has no legs, she is in a wheelchair being wheeled around and is still continuing to do her job, to do her duty. And Aura is shocked to hear this, but I think the one piece of dialogue that really shocked me came from Higemaru when he's looking at Aura and basically saying, I understand your feelings, I know where you're coming from, that like our two sides of humans and ghouls, we shouldn't be able to get along, and there's a lot of baggage going along with this history of infighting between ghouls and humans. But this piece of dialogue he says where he's like, but no more fighting should be the most important thing, right? That's what I think, and I heard this, I'm like, wow, Higemaru is actually spouting some wisdom and most likely is getting through to Aura. And it's after that moment, after that piece of dialogue, he kind of looks at both of them, even though Shao has a very sassy remark towards Higemaru that I absolutely love. He ends up saying to Shao and Hige, it's like, can you help me up? And this right here, I think raises a lot of questions. Is this in fact a redemption that we're seeing right now for Aura, or is Aura playing the system right now, trying to get on the good side of Shao and Higemaru, and once they turn their backs on him, will he literally stab them in the back? Because I can definitely see this going multiple ways. We could be coming back to them next chapter where Aura could be right now on the side of good, teaming up with Shao and Higemaru, and all is right with the world. But the other way I can also see this turning out is that Aura could end up backstabbing both Higemaru and Shao, and the next time we see them, they could just be unconscious on the ground, or worst case scenario, he ends up killing both Hige and Shao, and we just see Aura teaming up with Mutsuki going up against Urei and Psycho. I'm really hoping that this is just a redemption for Aura, because I don't really want to deal with Aura's shenanigans as long as we need to. If this is the end of it, I will be happy with that, but I still could see in the back of my mind, the next time we see him, Aura just ended up backstabbing these two, and it's like, what are you doing, Aura? I'm hoping that's not the case, but as of right now, there's many possibilities. This could be a trick, or this could in fact be the redemption of Aura, and if it is, I'll take it. If it's not, I'm really curious to see where Ishida is going to go with it. But now let's talk about the main event of this chapter, which basically deals with Mutsuki going up against Urei and Psycho. And this section and this fight continues off with the cliffhanger of chapter 154, where we got to witness and see the reveals that Mutsuki was not only able to suppress her RC cells, but she also ended up developing Kagane sacs on her Kagane, and it has a striking similarity to the Dragon Kagane. So Mutsuki ends up going in for this brutal attack on Urei. He ends up blocking it, but then just gets pummeled right down to the ground, and all we're left with seeing is Psycho staring down Mutsuki as she kind of has like these Dr. Octopus Kagane tentacles coming out of her Kagane, which I gotta say looks very, very cool. But Mutsuki just looks down at Psycho and is like, don't worry, this will all be over soon. I don't want to kill you, but if I have to, I must. And Psycho's looking at her like, what are you talking about? Why are you doing all this? Me and Urei have been worried about you, but due to the events with the Dragon Kagane, we couldn't come out and, see if you were okay. But why are you doing all this? Don't do this, Mutsuki. But Mutsuki just replies with, don't worry, it'll be okay. This will all be over soon. And she ends up releasing a massive attack towards Psycho, but then Urei gets out of the ground and ends up blocking the attack again. And he looks awesome in this panel on page 15 as he's blocking the attack. He looks so badass, but then he ends up bringing back dialogue back from volume 1 of Tokyo Ghoul Re when he got demoted as squad leader and Sasaki ended up slapping him and ended up scolding him. And I just love this dialogue right here where he says, when I was relieved of my position as squad leader, Sasaki said something. The squad leader ought to be someone that can act for the good of the team. I won't just abandon you here, and I won't let you hurt Yonebayashi. I fight for the sake of everyone in the squad. This right here, I've said it time and time again, and I think many other people have realized this. But this just goes to show the character development that we have witnessed with Urei's character from the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul Re up until now. And who would have thought at the very beginning of Re, if you told someone that this was going to be Urei's character, they would have laughed in your faces like, that guy, that douchebag, there is no way that that character will ever become a likable character. And I just got to applaud Ishida just for the character development and growth that we have got to witness with Urei throughout this entire series. habits. But even though we got this fantastic moment coming from Urei within this chapter, Mutsuki immediately dismisses everything he said and replies with, "Gross. Your eyes. I can see your ulterior motives through them, clear as glass. I'm very sensitive to lies because I am a liar. How dare you, Urei, try to out-lie a liar?" And this immediately goes back into that flashback we saw on page 1 of this chapter, where we got to witness Haise walking in on Mutsuki within the bathroom as she had her shirt off and trying to get bloodstains out of her shirt. And we know Haise got a full frontal view of all of Mutsuki, and we know he knew that she was a girl, but in this moment it was very confusing because he looked away, immediately dismissed it, and was like, "Oh, don't worry, I didn't see anything. I didn't even know you were in here, Mutsuki," and just kind of dismissed it. But Mutsuki picked up on Haise's lying habits. I'm not sure if she actually knows about, the hand on the chin. That is not 100% confirmed, but she does know about 2 lies that Haise ended up doing within this situation that she immediately picked up on. Haise's first lie was him walking in and pretending not to see Mutsuki in all of her female glory, because as soon as Haise walked in and realized that Mutsuki was in the bathroom not wearing a shirt, he immediately averted his gaze, just, looked away. It was basically like, "Oh, Mutsuki, I didn't know you were in here. Don't worry about it." Like, he basically played it off as if he did not see anything. And Mutsuki knows that Haise was lying in that situation because he got a pretty good view of Mutsuki in all of her female glory. But lie number 2 has a little bit more nuance to it because it's derived from how Haise ended up walking in on this situation. Because if you just take a normal human being and place them within this situation, the whole entire situation would become very embarrassing for both Mutsuki and the person involved, but also the person walking in would have been very, very flustered. Now look at Haise within this situation. He walked in, his movements were very smooth and natural, as if it was almost rehearsed, as if he knew what to expect walking in on Mutsuki without a shirt on in the bathroom. And Mutsuki realized within that moment, Haise knew I was a woman this entire time. And then she started racking it around in her head, basically thinking like, wait, he's been deceiving me this entire time. He's been lying to me. I feel wounded. How could he do this to me? But then she started to realize that her way of lying is different from Haise/Kaneki's way of lying. Mutsuki lies in order to protect herself, but Haise ended up lying in order to protect others. And this is not to say that Kaneki/Haise has lied in order to protect himself. He's done that a few times throughout the series, but this is basically Kaneki/Haise within a nutshell, that he's always trying to protect the others around him. And once Mutsuki realized this, that's where that love and infatuation and those really deep, very emotional moments of Mutsuki bubbled up to the surface, and thanks to everything that happened with Torso, that is what Mutsuki has basically brought up to the surface, that yandere persona where she's just so obsessed with Haise, she is willing to do anything in order to get that person back. So once we get out of the flashback, this is where Mutsuki ends up revealing to Saiko and Urei that she has begun to defile herself, that she's begun to consume and eat meat. As we are left to assume human meat she has been cannibalizing, and the reason she has been doing this is because she is willing to go to any lengths in order to obtain more strength and power, which seems very similar to Kaneki back in Tokyo Ghoul Part 1. But even with that, she ends up shouting to both of them that she is willing to do anything, which even means killing both Saiko and Urei during that process. And if these two expect to stop her in her tracks, the only thing they can do is to kill her right here and right now. And then Mutsuki ends up going in for a killing blow, and this is where we have this badass moment from Urei where he just takes the blow right to his gut on the left side, holds it in place with his left arm. Saiko is shocked, Mutsuki is even shocked by this, and we just have one word coming from Urei: no. No. That right there is totally badass, and that is the cliffhanger we are left on for this latest chapter of Tokyo Ghoul. And the ending cliffhanger note where it says Urei and Mutsuki has me super excited for where we could possibly go with chapter 156, and the wait is going to be so unbearable because I am looking forward to chapter 156, the first official chapter of 2018. But right now, is there a chance for Mutsuki to be redeemed after Urei and Psycho ended up talking with her, because this right here, seeing that shocked look on Mutsuki's face, it kind of shows this glimmer of hope that Mutsuki has a chance of being redeemed. But my other question to you guys as well, with everything I said about Shao going against Aura, is that a trick? Is Aura actually redeemed within this chapter, or will he end up backstabbing both Higemaru and Shao and end up coming back, you know, screaming to Mutsuki that they can do it, but then having Mutsuki ended up switching and maybe they all end up killing Aura in the process? There's many possibilities this could go, so I'm very excited to see where Ishida is going to take this. But what I'm really looking forward to is for the emotional moment we're about to be getting with Urei and Mutsuki, because there are some built up like romantic feelings for Mutsuki from Urei, so I'm excited if we're going to dive into that any further. But that is basically my review of chapter 155. I definitely want to hear your guys' overall thoughts, theories, and opinions moving forward with the latest chapters going into 2018. So I'm super excited. And just give me your overall thoughts on what you thought on this week's latest chapter. I'm glad we got it early, but that just means that the wait for chapter 156 will be that much longer. And for you guys, if you guys want to join in on the conversation talking about Tokyo Ghoul outside of YouTube, feel free to follow me on Twitter, guys. I have so much fun tweeting about Tokyo Ghoul, the latest chapters. The link for my Twitter can be found in the description below. Feel free to follow me there, guys. That's going to be it for me for this review of chapter 155 of Tokyo Ghoul. And until my next Tokyo Ghoul related video, I'll talk with you guys then, and Happy New Year, guys. See you later.